guys, and welcome to this episode of the Festival of Releases. This time we're going to be covering Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus. The game has been incredibly received by people. Nick's been playing it a lot.
I have. It's awesome. I literally just beat it probably about yesterday. I've been sinking a lot of time into it, and for a shooter, out of God, I can't tell you the last time I put this much time into an FPS that's not like an RPG or anything.
Yeah.
I'll try to slow down the acronyms, but no, it's really interesting. The one thing just before we go super into it that I just want to give people a heads up on, it's not, ironically enough, it's not mandatory to play the first one. So if it's something you're looking into,
they said that before.
If it's something you're looking into, they literally give you a whole big epic recap right at the beginning. And it's just awesome. It's very fun. They go over intense, super awesome action, very similar to Doom, but very unlike Doom. They go super in on emotions, which I was very surprised. And I mean, it's very interesting. They cover a lot of thought provoking stuff, which we'll go over in a sec. But so anyway, so Jeremy,
yep,
as you usually do, what are the official reviews?
So official reviews. This is from Metacritic of an average between Xbox, PlayStation, and PC. You're looking at 89% through Metacritic, 7.7 user, and 9.1 out of 10 on IGN, which is pretty good for the game.
Yeah.
The first game got very similar reviews. The first game, spite of coming out 2 years after Wolfenstein. Wolfenstein The New Order is the official reboot once Bethesda got the publishing rights to it. So this is the second in the new franchise after it's been rebooted through Bethesda. Maximum.
Yeah.
Maximum? Yeah, yes. Maximum Games.
Yeah. So to pretty much kind of go into it without... And the one thing I will say, I'm going to try to not spoil as much as I possibly can. I'm going to talk about some things because I feel like I have to get the review and kind of the message across. And at the end, I'll kind of throw like a number out because I feel like that's fair. But kind of going over just really things that impressed me right out the gate that I didn't think I was going to expect at all. So timepiece-wise, obviously post-World War II.
Yep.
But one thing I was really surprised at is how much detail they have in all of the events that even hypothetically would have taken place immediately after World War II.
Okay.
Which in the first one, obviously you had that a bit. Like you had obviously Nazis won. This is how it would have progressed. I think it was like 3 years later at that point, and here's where we're at.
Right.
But no, I mean they really go into then the detail of like, hey, so like here's how civilization would have ended up. Even when you start certain missions, there's certain characters that are interacting with like the Nazis in like the not open world but just in the map, and just based off some of that dialogue, you're getting like, oh, that's how they were able to introduce machines into this, and like that's how they were able to even like take over not just the United States but like more than that. Like,
well, hang on, back up real quick. So for those of you that don't know, Wolfenstein 2 is a alternate history game.
Yes.
It's not a futuristic kind of thing. It's not like a fantasy. It's based off of if the Nazis won World War II and took over America.
Yep.
So America becomes Nazi inhabited.
Yeah, because to pretty much, so the beginning of the first game pits you as BJ Blazkowicz, like main character, going in on this pretty much top secret mission with 3 other guys to pretty much take out one of these major epic Nazi generals.
Yep.
Pretty much you go to him, a bunch of shit happens, a bomb goes off, you get hit by shrapnel and then put in a coma. Because you did not kill him and put in said coma, because you're like the main awesome epic dude, Nazis end up winning.
Yep.
They don't directly say that, but like pretty much that's how it goes.
That's what happened.
And then a bunch of crazy shit ensues. Like I said, I won't even spoil it for people that are hearing this and are maybe going, maybe I should check out the series. But play them both. Both games are amazing. But to mostly go off Wolfenstein 2. So one thing right at the gate that like shocked me was like how much into detail they got without having to look into stuff. And that was kind of another thing too. There's over 200 collectibles in the game.
Yeah.
Over different types of collectibles and stuff. Same thing. Yet again, if you want to look over like how much detail there is all the like lore for all the old characters and stuff like that. There's all that, which is really cool. But you can totally play surface value and just enjoy it and get enough information to keep you going.
Yeah.
It's definitely not like just residual or anything like that. Another thing, which kind of going off what I was saying before, was super in depth and emotional on this one. Every probably 3 missions you do, either BJ is having a flashback, or one of the characters is like contemplating like how they would if they even succeed, how the world could even become even partially back to normal. Like there's so much. Even one of BJ's comrades in the first one even talks about like how even the brain copes after the brutality of war and like everything. It's crazy. I mean, even BJ multiple times contemplates what even is life going. So I mean, like, because the game is just crazy. It's riddled with bullets. A bunch of crazy shit's happening. Shooting a bunch of cyborg Nazis and fucking robot dogs that breathe fire and shit. Like, they definitely keep it fun, but yeah, at the same time, like, they do really ground the concept, which I didn't even think was possible, but they really grounded of like, what if someone had to go through that?
Yeah, like what if somebody had to be in a Nazi-run America?
Yeah, exactly. And they even have a couple what if scenarios that you play out.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, they mess with you a lot in this game. They give you 4 presumptions of what's going to happen, and then flip the table so many times, you just run with it. And the other thing I want to say too was, because of the whole story in depth thing, that has a good balance, and that's really important.
Yeah,
because that was one
definitely.
thing. Once I started seeing it, I was like, oh shit, we're really getting like, you know, we're really becoming a casualty of war in this one. Because, like I said, not to spoil too much, but BJ, based off the end of Wolfenstein 1 into Wolfenstein 2, BJ is super hindered, and life is more threatening than usual.
Okay.
I'll just leave it at that. So that's why he's way more contemplating like what's going on and how to continue and all that stuff. And the thing that I loved about it was, though, they put you in really good fun moments and made you feel good, but then would immediately dip you down, but then got you right back up. There was there was such a good balance of it. And because of that, I mean, for a first-person shooter, which, this is just me, but like, I find it very difficult to stay invested in first-person shooters.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, like, the campaigns are usually short.
Yeah.
So even in the back of my brain, I'm like, well, even if I'm not into it, I know I'm going to beat the game in 8 hours, so who cares?
The only first-person shooter that is incredibly long is Fallout.
Exactly. And that's, I wouldn't even consider that a first-person shooter. Like, you know,
I mean, but
because of how much other shit, you know what I mean?
It's more of an RPG.
Exactly. Like, just calling it a first-person shooter, like, wouldn't do it justice.
Yeah, first-person shooter RPG.
Exactly. But even, if you compare, like, Call of Duty's or Battlefields, or even, like, Destiny.
Or Doom.
Yeah, exactly. So there's even a bunch of stuff like that where it was just kind of like, you know, run, gun, awesome, fun, but then done. But yeah, this one was really well done with that. And also another thing which you can do throughout the game, but I really didn't dabble into until post-game, because honestly I was enjoying the story so much, I just want to keep doing the story. There's side missions in this one. You can actually, it threw everybody off, but what you end up doing is, because I don't think this is too spoilery, but what you do is, which you could do as well in the first one, but they really went like ham on this one, is in most big areas where there's a ton of enemies, there's usually a Nazi general throughout the group. If you kill the Nazi general, you get an Enigma code. And once you get enough Enigma codes, you can decrypt them to then find other Nazi generals to go kill.
Oh, that's cool.
And some of them don't intentionally show up until later on, until you decipher them. So the whole thing is, you can go to a hub thing that takes you, or that shows you like an overall map that you can then select back to old maps that actually are more open than before, which is really interesting. Because in like the shooter setup, they put it relatively linear. I mean, you can still roam around, but in those areas, they actually open up the map even more for then you to go find that general and stuff, which is really cool, and adds a lot more to just beating the game.
Okay.
And even the game, without yet again going too much. But the game vocalizes pretty much that it's very important to keep playing past the initial story.
Yeah.
Which is cool.
Okay, that's cool.
I'm trying to think of other major stuff too, just before capping it all off. Antagonist still the same. Obviously, Nazis are bad.
Yep.
Main characters though are
really?
right. Main characters are still just as bad, but in this one you want to kill them so much more.
Yeah.
Stuff happens. Ugh. Oh my God, there's so much.
Talk about it.
I know. I want to talk about so much. I would love to. Just a heads up on a side note. If you guys would like to hear an actual spoiler free or spoiler filled rendition of this review, let me know in the comments because honestly, I could easily put out a video to go through the whole story. But the story's absolutely phenomenal. You have to play it. You got to check it out. Even if you're not big on first-person shooters, and I really don't consider myself big on first-person shooters.
No, I don't think you are either.
Yeah, exactly. I'm definitely way more of an RPG guy, but this one totally sucked me in. I cannot wait for the next one.
Or DLC.
Exactly, DLC. But I will say this, though. One thing that I liked about this one that I got a little bit annoyed with the first one, this one does have an ending.
Oh, okay.
It's not absolute, but it definitely ends.
Yeah.
You feel okay with the ending, and it's fine.
Okay.
Wolfenstein 1 ended so inexplicitly, you were like, oh my God, shit. And then the worst part was the DLC was off a separate thing back before the game even started, which was the worst fucking part, so you were still baited with that cliffhanger. So yeah, guys, I mean, I'm trying to think of other mechanic stuff. Shooting, obviously, because that's a big point for first-person shooters, I would think, right? No. Guns are awesome. All the mechanics of them are cool. They added, I think, 5 new guns and replaced out 3.
Okay.
So they added a bunch
from
of
the first game.
Yeah, from the first game. There's now a triple round shotgun that goes off like a revolver barrel set, which is really cool.
Shit.
There's pistols that fire grenades, which is pretty neat. There's essentially like sticky grenade guns where you can shoot them, they'll stick to an enemy, and then you can choose when to explode them.
That's cool.
Which is pretty cool. One other thing that, Bethesda shooters do with all of their, with Doom and then even with first Wolfenstein and then with this one, that I love, is all of their guns always have different features when zooming in or just even holding left trigger. Okay. Which is a feature I think more games should have.
Agreed.
Yeah, just one small example is for that gun that I was talking about where you can shoot sticky bombs and then blow them up whenever with left trigger. Mm-hmm. If you're zoomed in, they'll just auto detonate if you shoot them.
Oh, that's
which
cool.
is just subtle, but just good. Another one is if you pick up a super heavy gun, because they do have a bunch of those in this one too, which are awesome. Actually the most simplistic one is just a basic machine gun, but it fires shotgun bullets, not regular machine gun bullets, which is cool. And what's awesome is, so if you do single shot fire, if you're just holding right trigger, it'll still go, but it's just firing basic shotgun bursts.
Oh, that's
pretty
cool.
much every 2 seconds. But if you hold left trigger while you're doing it, you go auto rapid fire, which is really cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So it's just subtle things like that I think are awesome.
Yeah.
There's stuff that happens later on. There's one where it's a super beam cannon.
Oh,
there's another one that's a black hole fucking gun. It's the best way I can describe it.
Shit like that in Destiny.
Exactly. Yeah. Right. It's essentially the BFG of Wolfenstein.
Oh, okay. That makes
to
sense.
Put that in the best perspective I can.
Cool.
So shooting's awesome. I played on essentially the hard difficulty. There's a bunch of difficulty settings with this one. There's easy. There's baby difficulty, which I pretty much insult you with. Easy, medium, medium hard, tough as fuck, and then impossible. Those. That is the scale of the difficulty with this one.
Wow.
So I played on hard. There was maybe 3 times out of the whole campaign I had to bang my head against the wall a couple of times of just difficult. They put you in a room. Shit. One other feature that I thought was awesome, you can save anytime you want.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is very important, because when you're in a super fucked up scenario and you keep getting stuck and you're like, fuck, if I could just kill this dog, I know I could kill the enemies. So then the second you kill the dog, you can pause, save, and then be good.
That's cool.
Or, like, make sure that you do the really good run.
Smart. Games need to do that.
Exactly. Especially for first-person shooters.
Yes.
When they put you in a big open area and you don't know when you can. The saving's also very quick, which is very important. It's not a 10-minute load of loading, saved. You literally pause, save, done. It's literally that quick.
Good.
So they have that. They also have save states, essentially, too. So you can just jump right back in, which is nice. They have the quick play save, or the quick saves, and then your saves, which is important.
That's cool.
Which is really nice. And then character interactions are really good, too. I think the characters had a lot more to say.
Than they did in the first one?
Yeah. Now, the debatable thing, though, is I feel like in the first one they had a lot more to do.
Okay.
There's so much... the first one built up finding so many people, and in this one you do find a bunch of new characters that are really good, that are good. Like, I can't wait to see what they really have to do in the third one.
Right.
The problem is it's just like, oh, cool, like, we have a new mission designator and, like, 2 other people. But it was very rare we saw somebody on the ground floor shooting with you. Or, it wasn't until near the end of the game where you saw a couple things actually happen. But the story is long enough where that's like the only partial thing. I just want to see more of the other characters doing shit. Sure. In this, it definitely more felt like if BJ did not exist, there's no fucking way you wouldn't have been able to get even to step 3, let alone the end of the game. Yeah. So, that was one thing I was just kind of like, okay, I know he's pivotal, but, holy fuck, we're making this dude Superman.
It's like Marcus Phoenix.
Beyond that. And it's funny that you actually bring that up, because I was going to actually entice you with that.
Okay.
This game, especially when you hit the halfway point, feels so fucking similar to Gears 4.
Really?
1,000%. Because it goes essentially just like JD did with BJ. You go back to your old home, and a bunch of shit goes down.
And it's awesome.
It's that same feeling, but holy fuck, there's so much more tied to it. That's the other thing too that I want to say with it.
So I would probably really dig that.
That's what I'm saying. You're so gonna fucking dig the game.
So 3 major games came out the same day: Wolfenstein, Mario, and Assassin's Creed.
Yep.
We each got all 3.
Yeah.
He played Wolfenstein, I played Creed, we both played Mario, so we could talk about it.
Yep, met in the middle there.
So I haven't touched Wolfenstein yet, so I'm extremely excited.
Yeah, it's awesome. Ironically enough...
how much I've been paying attention.
Yeah, ironically enough, though, out of the 3, because here's what sounds silly. I knew Assassin's Creed already got good hype.
Yep.
Mario already knew was going to be good. Spoiler on that review. Already knew that was going to be amazing. So Wolfenstein was the one that was really going to surprise me. Yeah. And I especially think too...
Wolfenstein was the one out of the 3 I was probably the most excited for. Which is why I want to play it later, because I don't want to feel rushed with it. I want to sit down and actually play through the entire thing.
That's what I was going to say too. It's definitely not just because it's a shooter. Don't rush through it.
Right.
Play through, enjoy it, really grip into it.
Because I dig a game with a story, so if I can get a good story out of it, like I can with Wolfenstein, I want to enjoy the story.
But the one thing I was nervous of, and I think you and me we talked about it a lot in the older episodes, but just on podcast episodes and stuff. But Bethesda's been really coin flippy lately.
Yes.
We've just been seeing Skyrim remake, and Skyrim on Switch. VR Skyrim, and it's just fuck. And then
Did you see that joke that happened today?
Which one?
So Razer announced their new gaming smartphone.
Okay.
And the joke was Razer announces phone. Bethesda announces Skyrim for new Razer phone. It's just yep.
So so that was the thing. And Bethesda's one of my favorite game companies. So
absolutely.
It just was shitty for such a long time that we didn't get anything major. And then even what was Dishonored? They did just a small.
Yeah, and they tried to put out Prey in May, and Prey was alright.
Yeah, exactly. And Prey was solid, but it wasn't anything. It wasn't groundbreaking.
Yeah.
The first couple levels were really good, and then it was just pandering. But anyway, so going back to the main topic at hand. Obviously, if you've heard me say it already, fucking play this game. It's so good. This should be the new blueprint of how first-person shooter stories should be. Because this story was so good, and I rarely say this. I'm glad of spending the $60 to actually get this game.
Wow.
Just for the story and just for single player. That's how on point it is. I'll be honest, I don't see myself doing super replay value, The only thing I would is because of how much I got to know the maps, playing on the harder difficulty setting to get through it.
Right.
But it's not to say that I'm not done playing the game. There's so much post-game stuff, like I said, with extra missions and stuff. And not the way you typically hear post-game content.
Right.
They don't just give you, like, pandering shit just to pander. It's, like, other stuff that then beats into more lore.
Oh, that's cool.
That I'm hoping is either going to then tie into the third one or tie into upcoming DLC. Exactly. Which that's going to be interesting, too. So we'll see how that goes. But... yeah, like I said, guys, I cannot recommend it enough. Obviously, I'm telling Jeremy to play the shit out of it once we get, Jesus Christ, out of the 36 million fucking games that come out, some type of longevity.
That'll happen in January. January is always the dead period.
Yeah. And I feel, like, I just want to throw a disclaimer, too, on this. Not on Wolfenstein, but on games in general. I felt shitty lately because I feel like at the beginning of the year, we were really bashing a lot of games. And I feel like at the end of the year, we're giving games, like, too good of reviews. But they are. No, but I'm saying
they're
good games. I'm not actually being mad at our numbers. I'm just like, fuck, like it's like fucking like 6s and 7s at the beginning of the year and fuck, everything's like an 8 and 9. But
however, I mean, it kind of started like the beginning of the year was really good. Like we had Resident Evil, we had Persona,
yes,
we had Yooka-Laylee,
that is very true.
The middle of the year was kind of dead.
Yeah.
And then we're getting up to really
good
parts.
Insurgents.
Yeah.
I mean, overall, it's been a really good year for games. Mm-hmm. But anyway, so out of 10, I have to give this game a 9.
Wow.
Solid 9. Not even faltered on that whatsoever. It is a solid 9. Future DLC, honestly, if they keep going with the direction they're going, I might give it a 10. It is the sleeper title of the year. Like, I mean, not to say it's beating out necessarily the other 2 games that came out on the same day, but I can definitely guarantee you, out of the three, you're not making a wrong choice picking any.
Yeah.
That's pretty much...
boom.
Yeah, that's pretty much to cover that. But yeah.
All right.
So yeah, play the goddamn game, Jeremy.
I will play it.
Let me know what you think.
Play it. I have 2 other games to get through first.
Yeah, and you guys too as well. If you enjoyed the review, please let us know in the comments.
Absolutely.
If you're having some cool, awesome Wolfenstein chat and want to know some stuff going on, if you have anything of like, whoa, I found out this cool thing, leave in the comments. Let us know what's going on.
Or if you completely disagree with Nick and you're like, yo, this game is terrible.
That's true.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Banter back.
Exactly. We could talk about it on a future episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I would love to.
If you're lucky enough, we'll bring you on the episode.
Yes. Sam, that's a little too much.
Hey, I mean, if they have a good enough argument and tell you you're stupid,
that's fair.
I want them to tell you you're stupid on the podcast. I want them to be here and do it.
Jesus Christ.
You can hide behind your comments.
Oh gosh. All right, guys. So on that note, that pretty much wraps up
Wolfenstein
review.
Yep.
We hope you guys enjoyed.
Which, by the way, you can pick it up. I don't know if I said this earlier, but I'm gonna say it now. You can pick it up on Xbox One. You can pick it up on PS4 and PC. And in the future, you can pick it up on the Nintendo Switch, which is pretty fucking cool.
It's neat, but get it on Xbox One or PS4.
Well, yeah, but I mean, the fact that you can get it on the Switch, like this on a Nintendo console, just blows my mind. Like a new Nintendo console.
True, but I'm not gonna lie, I do not see myself playing that game well on a Switch.
Well, see, that's why I want to play it, because I don't think I will either, so I want to see like what it's going to be like. So I'm excited to play it on the Switch.
Play it on a console first.
I will, but I'm going to play it on the Switch too.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, yeah.
But just play it on a console. Okay, so anyway, guys, so that pretty much wraps that up. Thank you guys for tuning in. We have a bunch more other reviews coming out, because obviously the other 2, so you can obviously check those out as well.
Yep. There's a whole playlist on the YouTube. It's going to have all of the festival releases stuff that we're doing, so you guys can check that out.
Cool.
That way you don't get confused with the regular episodes.
Yep. So on that note, guys, good evening, good night, and always good luck.
See you guys.